All right, welcome back to episode 11 of Ponder Up Yonder. As always, your host, I'm Sam,
I am Nick.
and we're happy to have you back with us. And so we're just going to jump right into it today because why not? Nick, deal them up.
Deal them up, baby. Here we go. First card, Flipperisky. Let's ponder telescopes, my friend.
Telescopes.
Telescopes.
This was mine. A lot of it is going to be in relation, if you've been following along, the James Webb Telescope, NASA's new telescope that has just now started releasing images.
I
haven't,
have, yeah.
well, I guess it's been
For
a
the
while
listener,
since it's launched.
It's on Twitter. It's on the US. It's all over.
The amount of stuff that's out there, the first images were dropped, I believe, in like June, and they launched it up to space. It had traveled 1 million miles and build itself. It had to a million miles, and then it had to assemble itself.
After 1 million miles?
After it traveled, it had to assemble itself because it's like a big honeycomb, like reflecting mirror thing. But like we've now seen the Big Bang. We have the photo. But the craziest thing about this telescope is, so it's 1 million miles from Earth. It took a photo, just pointed out, the Big Bang, and it's measured in light years. So like it looks so tiny. The fact that it's that bright is 13.2 billion light years away. So you got time and space moving.
Right, space-time.
But the fact of each image they're showing is the equivalent of you held a grain of sand at arm's length up to the sky. That's how big the photo is in respect to this whole universe. So all those dots and galaxies, and those are all galaxies.
I know, galaxies, not planets.
Galaxies, not planets. Like
galaxies.
Not just our solar system, not just our galaxies.
There's so much
like
going
everything
on
out there and what they're looking at, and all the exoplanets they'll be able to like look in.
I know.
Because each telescope, though, like so the Hubble, different type of telescope than the James Webb, and there's another one that's being built, and another one. They're all built with different ways to read things. So like one might be better at catching infrared. One might be better at catching sound if there's any sound waves or radio waves. Right. So these telescopes are designed to try to pick up on different things going on.
We are seeing so
not even just telescopes from sitting on like a mountaintop, observatory style. Like these are a million miles from Earth.
A million miles from Earth is the craziest part. And then we're at computers that are like,
it's constantly getting data in.
And we're seeing like the picture of the colorful picture,
like the nebula and the galaxies. It's astounding. It's beautiful, and we are. Too. It just then reminds you, it's so hard to process. If that's holding a grain of sand up at arm's length, how small are we?
Yeah, right.
Like
that's
that one does. It is tough to swallow. It's like a reminder of like, yeah, we have all this stuff going on in Earth, but like the universe to the universe.
I mean, it's not even.
And the universe is constantly expanding and creating new galaxies. Like they spiral into each other, and explode and create new galaxies and new stars and.
How we got here.
Yeah, in telescopes, they say like for every star you see in the sky, you could assume there's a planet around it. Whether it's like big or small,
right.
You can assume it has enough gravitational pull to have some type of planets around it.
I like looking at telescopes here on Earth as well.
It's just so cool. In a long time.
I remember like a friend or a family from and set one up and see Saturn's rings, from a parking lot. I'm like, well, that's sweet.
Well, and just the things that they can study. Like they want somebody put in for a grant proposal to use the James Webb to look at a planet that literally like rains lava or ice or diamonds or something.
Sweet.
Like that's what's raining in the atmosphere.
Right. That's just their atmosphere. Right.
You can obviously not livable.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's where. Yeah.
Trumped it.
Trumped
Trumped it. This one is another one. Are you familiar with the Georgia Guidestones, which have been in the news semi-recently as well because they've been destroyed?
I am unfamiliar.
They've also now been destroyed. So. In Georgia, U.S., down in Georgia.
Okay.
Probably, I believe it was the 80s. Somebody came into town, and because like this part of Georgia was known for like granite masonry work, like stone work.
Okay.
So somebody came in and contracted them to build these giant, I believe they're like 20-foot tall, single piece like granite pillars.
Okay.
And
like
they were
kind of,
and they were lined up like with I guess star or sun alignments too,
okay.
Like.
This is very, the 80s. This is like some Marvel.
So like,
we did it, and then
the granite company's like, yeah, this will be even like it's kind of weird what they're asking us to put on them because like it was translated into 8 languages, but it's basically like if you find these, like this is how to rebuild society and like the rules of how you can survive.
I did hear about this. I thought it was awesome that we did that.
Well, no one knows. It's very mysterious about it. Like somebody commissioned them to be built and gave some type of name.
Right.
Like was it a time traveler universe, somebody that
Right.
knows something,
This is-
or was it somebody for like misinformation or
We don't write
New
it-
World Order? Like we don't know. Like there's people speculate about them.
We don't write enough in stone.
No.
All the cave drawings is all the only thing we have. Everything that was written in stone. We don't write in stone at all. We have computers. We don't have like no history when we're
No
wiped
history.
out. It's gonna be like not like
Well, that's what as
all
we
these other ones
discussed
we
in the last month.
right.
We talked about like what would you know to look at to know if there was a society.
For us, I can't even think of anything.
Because like think about how much like there
What
are
do we-
mountains in Colorado that used to be underwater.
Right.
So like okay, let's say in a million years, okay, even if we did have stone structures, are they going to be underwater? Are they going to be shifted somewhere across the actual globe?
Trying to piece that together.
Piece
right.
that together and be
Yeah.
like, whoa.
How much do we have right? How much do we have
Like
wrong?
so like that's all the other variables of it too. And it's like at the same time, scientists think the universe eventually it has to explode and recreate a new universe.
So
again.
someone ruined these stones in Georgia.
Somebody blew them up.
Just some anarchist.
Yeah,
asshole?
and then they brought the remains of whatever was left because they had to take them down because there's a hazard. I mean, granite falling apart
yeah.
or whatever.
Good Lord.
But they put whatever's remaining in a museum down there. I
They
guess,
should do
for
that.
granite because there's a
They should do that again and not tell anybody.
well, like it was controversial a lot of it because it was like keep the global population under 500 million.
Oh, I
Like
guess
so,
it never
people said it was like New World Order or like the
I forgot
Illuminati,
the stuff
like
that was
control.
on that,
So
right.
like a lot of it kind of made sense, but at the same time was
500 mil is pretty small.
I mean we're at 8 billion.
Right.
And then you get people like Musk who's like, we're at a population crisis of where we
He
won't
thinks
have
there's not
enough
enough,
people
yeah,
into
right.
the future. It's like,
Right.
but then you know how much of the earth we haven't explored.
Right, but
And how much-
resources.
It's
All
resources,
resources.
but figuring out what to use.
Yeah, and changing. It's always
And it could
changing.
change in an instant. Like we could discover some fungi or plant or something that all of a sudden is like, we don't need coal, we don't need
Yeah,
gas, we don't
exactly.
even need hydro, we don't need
Well, they would
nuclear.
keep it from us or charge us $7 at first. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could, over time, we could change the entire.
Exactly.
I like how we got where we end up with Georgia Stones and we took it to.
They're interesting. I
We
mean,
pondered deep, sir. I'm flipping a card. Here
Ponder.
we go. We're gonna lay down.
what's going on?
It
up
literally says Stonehenge.
there? That's a good
Yeah,
follow
that's
up.
so funny that they were next to each other in the deck.
Oh, let's see. What are your thoughts on Stonehenge? Do you have a speculation or theory you like to ascribe to?
Oh my god, I'm marveled like everybody else. I think.
It's
Are you
insane.
marveled?
Yeah.
I'm,
They're huge,
I'm marveled by it.
and for how old they are and the
and then
weight
again-
of them.
Right. But just that, it's one of the few things where I'm just like, I got nothing. And then when I got nothing, I go to aliens. I don't know if you guys do that. See, back in the day, we were talking about this in the first episode. Back when they went to nothing, they would go to God, or just where else are you supposed to go? Now we have two options. God,
Yeah, it's
God,
like
God or
what
aliens.
do you say? It's similar to the pyramids. It's like that was a feat that even with today's technology, like I was watching a documentary where it's talking of like some historical structures of even with today's technology, it would be challenging to build some things that it still exist today that were built at a time where we assume, it was rock and chisel type situation.
And what is Stonehenge with the sun and its placement? What
Do
you know?
I couldn't
don't
tell
know
you
it.
the
Yeah, I don't know it
specifics
either.
of like how it lines up, but like there is,
It's-
it's laid out
Oh,
in
yeah.
a specific
I know
way.
people go there a certain day every year where like
I believe it's where the planets and stars. I think there's like a
Yeah.
huge alignment.
that's what it is. It's
I
with,
think
like,
there's a
solar
big
system.
like
Yeah.
millennia type alignment.
Right. It's
I
like a bucket
believe.
list
I
to
could be
go to
wrong.
there. I don't know. I'm taking
But
your
just the
word for
fact
it.
of like the feat of creating those with their size and magnitude at a time where
not possible in art from what we know.
how could they? And
That's
it
why it's
goes
a
to like
wonder
how do
of the
we
world.
know like what would be left if we looked a million years into the future? Would we find anything? Would our plastic be the only thing remaining?
I know, right?
Because to become a
But
fossil,
plastic-
it has to be like a perfect situation to
Well, plastic
fossilize.
could magma or like a volcano would. Or
Yeah,
a
but they'd
meteor.
still have at an atomic level,
Oh, you're right.
like
you're
from
right.
carbon
Yeah.
isotoping or however they isotope it.
Right.
Like that's how they measured the existence of some of these elements.
former things, right? Or
Yeah,
things
like
we find.
everything's elemental at its core, and
That
like
has
there's
to
a
be.
way to kind of.
But we can discover new elements. Are we still? I mean,
We
are
still, I
capable-
think
are we
it's. I think
added-
it's
are
still
we
been.
fucking added to that
I
thing?
think.
Because there's like the weird shape, and
Yeah.
there's like that bottom section. Or I don't know, maybe that's just. Huh.
No, I mean I think we've discovered
there
since
is.
we started our formal education. I'm
For sure, there's been a
I'm
new
very
element.
positive. There's new elements
A
that-
couple
with
or
some
even, yeah,
wild
10.
names.
Science.
I'm
buffs
just waiting
reach
for, like,
out and tell
vibranium.
us the new ones.
Yeah, I'm waiting for vibranium bring some Marvel elements into this.
There we go.
The
Yeah, they gotta
Captain
start-
America shield vibranium.
I was like, I have no idea.
I think that's correct. I don't remember.
Well,
But it's trumpet.
This episode of Ponder Up Yonder podcast is brought to you in part by Janissa Wine Bar, located at 11 North Main Street, Janesville, Wisconsin. Enjoy a relaxing evening of good conversation, great drinks, and elegant atmosphere in downtown Janesville's only historically preserved Italianate-style building. Stop into Janissa today. And now, back to the show.
Trumpet.
I
Trump the
flipped
card.
her up, my guy.
I'm up. All right. For the suit, hotels versus Airbnbs.
I wrote
This
down.
I like this.
It's I mean,
Where do you stand?
That's basically what it comes down to. But it's Airbnbs have become so popular, and it's basically which one would you prefer? Would you prefer going to a stranger's home and taking over for a night or two, or would you prefer the amenities of a hotel? Where do you stand?
It honestly depends on the vacation and like what's going to be done.
Ooh, I like that.
So like if it's something that's probably a week, I mean, unless I'm going somewhere for like an all-inclusive, like that's the goal of the vacation is like an all-inclusive resort.
Your hotel.
That's something, that's hotel resort because
So
it makes sense to do it. But if we're going somewhere, like 3 to 7 days, I'd much rather have an Airbnb because I like to cook my own meals. Like we'll
Set up
get
shop.
groceries every time we go and stay. Like I don't want to eat out every meal. Like it's nice to splurge and eat local food, but like my body feels awful when you eat out so much. So like but like if it's like a 2-night or 1 night,
1 or 2, you max out at 2 at a hotel.
or if like there's not an Airbnb or the price is way too much, like grab a hotel.
Grab a hotel, sure. I'm right there with you. I'm a big Airbnb. Some of them are strange.
And it's kind of just cool. Yeah, you find the places this kid has found to stay at for Airbnbs while wandering up yonder.
Up yonder, yeah. I look for weird ones. I actually have 3 in my phone. I have 3 wish lists. I have 3 wish lists. One's called tiny houses. One's called cheap lakefront in Wisco, and one's called camping. The camping one's fantastic.
That's fair.
Because some are just campsites. They put them on Airbnb. And grab one for $20 for that. That's cool. And then some are like yurts in some farmland. Like one I went to was a Christmas tree farm, and it was just a cabin with no water. They brought 2 different water tanks, one for drinking, one for bathing. I'm like, I'm just one night. I don't think I need the bathing thing. And I did because I made hamburgers, and then like I had hamburger on my hands, and I was like, oh my God, there's not a sink. So
that's quite a pickle to be in.
I had to go over to the bathing station thing, and it was a orange Gatorade tank.
Sure.
From the well, but I think he must have boiled it. He warmed it. The Airbnb host.
Okay.
And it's actually quite lovely. It all soap, and I was like, I'd be lost without this.
You don't think about that.
And then another Airbnb.
One had a zip line, was it?
That was that one.
That was that one.
Yeah, that one had
a zip line on his
behind
property.
the Christmas tree farm. There was he's like, there's a zip line down there, and then he looked me in the eye and he said, if insurance asks you, you can't use it. And I was just like, that was cryptic. I don't think insurance is asking me anything, but it sounds like.
Did it go into the pond there?
It did.
I went and
investigated the entire zip line. You start up top.
Okay.
It was cool.
How was the integrity? Structurally sound?
I'd say the way if you're in
Did you hit it?
I know. If I was in my 20s, then 31.
That's fair.
My whole thought was like, man, if I was 23,
shoulder
24,
goal, you're done for a
week. I just went out there like 10 times, even like just by myself. It looked kind of fun, but it looked definitely like 50% dicey.
Yeah, see, no, I'm not signed up for that.
And then another Airbnb I went to that is the strangest one is where I didn't have a place to sleep looking for campsites. Couldn't find one, hopped on Airbnb, and it usually says like 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. This one, it literally just said hammock, the word hammock. I've never seen it. I was like, hammock? It said
is that
$20
tree hammock one on the golf course?
So, yes. So then
the places he finds.
I pulled up to it and I thought it was I was like, oh, I'm sleeping in someone's yard in a hammock. As I got closer, I was like, yikes, man, maybe not. And then I pulled up to
horror movie,
amazing place called it was something fantastic lodging, and they had all these strange. You could sleep in a cable car. You could sleep in yurts and tiny houses.
Was the cable car not available?
No, nothing. Those were like 150 reasonable.
Were there people in them that night?
Oh, the whole place was booked.
Oh, it was.
Oh my God! Everyone was there.
No vacancy.
People were golfing with me.
Oh,
so there was
did you have a foursome?
The golf course was hilarious. It was basically just a mowed lawn with golf pins, but then he mowed it, like dropped the blade, and mowed a circle around. You could not on a putting surface by any means. And then there was also disc golf chains on all of them too, so you could do both. So I actually disc golf. You do it twice to get 6 holes in. I disc golfed, and then I went and grabbed a club from the house. It was like, this is ridiculous. And I golfed the so-called golf course. It's free. They give you a scorecard. I'm like, I don't need the scorecard. There's 3 holes. Where am I? And I haven't even gotten to the good part where I was sleeping.
Hope I keep that mental note of holes 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't keep my own score. And then I got to my where I was sleeping, and I wasn't in a cable car. I was in a tent. It was a tent suspended from 3 trees.
Yeah,
it floating tent. It looked awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it looked
like
cool from
solar
the
lights.
photos. It looked cool.
Up on a hill. I had my own complete area fire pit. It was very secluded. It was awesome.
Yeah, that did look lovely.
It was nice, but the schematics of sleeping. It was like sleeping on a trampoline hoisted from trees. Like if my body weight shifted one way, it was. I mean, I started laughing at one point. I didn't get a wink of sleep.
Middle of the night, you're like,
I shift roll, and I literally pencil roll, full body pencil roll, and I'm stuck on the other side in a crevasse. I was like,
so
laughing,
is that
like? And then I can't imagine 2 people because like they sell it as a couple can sleep in there. And I was like, I can imagine balancing 2 people trying to balance.
You'd have to be very similar weights.
They are sleeping in the car.
You'd have to be very similar weight, very similar weight,
identical weight,
like with plus or minus like 3 pounds.
But it was $25 for a night, and I was like,
yeah,
a strange place. It came with golf.
That alone came with golf. $25, you get a
I did leave very early because I did not sleep a wink. But something legendary lodging is what it was called. Royal Oaks Legendary Lodging in Waupaca, Wisconsin, in the great up north. In the
shout out Royal Oaks.
Find yourself a strange legend. It's legendary. It is. It's when you pull up. It's like it's farmhouse, and then cable cars and strange structures.
The cable car that's got my interest.
That
piques my interest.
That would be my next
Are there actually beds in there? Or do you have to sleep on the benches from the cable car?
There's 2 beds, I think, in the cable car.
Oh.
Let's just look at the website. It's got there's a yurt and then a giant teepee.
It's a unique experience.
Talk about the coolest Airbnb.
That's a very unique experience.
Yeah, it was. I would recommend.
See, but that's another reason why I kind of like also Airbnbs. If you've noticed, they now offer unique experiences.
There's like silo houses in Wisconsin, all over silo Airbnbs.
Crazy cool Airbnbs, like once in a lifetime stay.
A hotel room is a damn hotel room.
Yeah, it is.
2 queen beds.
It's reliable.
You
know what you're going to get for the most part, which is nice. It's a safe option. You know what you're going to get.
I don't like safe.
But I want the adventure.
Give me the strangeness. We were in one in Illinois, and you never really. I've been in a couple apartments. Have you done the apartment? Yeah,
people take good pictures and deceive the layouts and sizes of things.
Are interesting. One was
I've hit heads on ceilings.
Yeah, I had one where you see the pictures and you're trying to figure out how many bedrooms are there. How is this layout? When we got there, they could have typed it. It was like a amenity. My room had its own staircase, and I was up in this own private area in an apartment. It was a 2-story apartment. It was the strangest building in. Oh boy, I was either in Dubuque, Iowa, or I was in somewhere in Illinois.
Sterling.
The caves were there. I was in some national cave. I like to
Rock Cave. Creek,
Starved Rock State Park.
Starved Rock State Park. I was gonna get to there. I was like Rock. I've driven by the sign. I can see it.
On a future episode, I'm gonna a topic that's got to be state parks. So I love those. But for now, we did good on Airbnbs and hotels. That was good.
That was good. What do you got?
We both love them. I got dogs. I mean, we both love them.
Love dogs.
You could tell us about
personally
your
2 dogs.
We have a new one.
One we've had for a few years, and the other that's Skylar.
I do want to say real quickly, Skylar is obviously a girl, and Sam calls her Douglas, and it's the funniest thing I've heard in my life.
It happens. Everybody's got multiple nicknames for their dogs. It just happens to be a formal male name for a female dog.
Yeah.
But she responds to it, and it's funny. But a couple months ago, got another dog identical to Skylar, but a puppy version. Her name is Stormy.
Stormy is adorable.
She'll be running around at some point. Maybe one of these times we'll introduce her. She kind of does her own thing.
What is the breed of both pups?
Soft-coated Wheaten Terrier.
Soft-coated Wheaten Terrier.
Yeah.
Purebreds.
Purebreds. Irish herding dog.
And the name Stormy. Tell me where it came from.
I mean, we felt we wanted an S name, just cheesy or not. Skylar, they're both the same breed.
It's easy, man. It's easy.
In my head, I'm always just saying like the Adventures of Skylar and who? The Adventures of Skylar and And originally we were thinking Springs because we saw a video from the breeder of the dog and it looked like it was Hoppy, but that apparently was her sister. And so when we got Stormy, you know, it was a stormy day outside and it was an S word and we looked at her and she had just like kind of some black shading on her face and on her back.
Hair,
yeah,
kinda.
cloudy hair. And we're like, Stormy. And then, you know,
it.
just kind of stuck and she started responding to it, loved it. So, you know, the adventures of Skylar and Stormy.
We'll keep you updated.
Yeah, keep you posted. We'll share some little tidbits with them, but yeah, they're a great breed. Hypoallergenic, which is great because I'm allergic to some dog breeds. Almost
Don't
every
shed.
cat.
The big
Yeah, they
one's
don't
shedding.
shed.
I mean, God bless you, dog owners who have dogs who shed. I don't know why you choose one of them. It's a nightmare.
It's tough,
and I love them because I'll go to those people's houses and I'll like.
Did you set a timer?
I forgot. Is it?
That's okay. Well, we're just at like 22 minutes.
Oh, no, forget that.
So then, yeah, we can just.
Should we cut up and just wrap it though?
Yeah,
or would it be hard to?
No, that's easy.
Okay.
Because you had dogs growing up too.
Yeah, and the only we just always had small dogs. The only interesting thing about our family dogs, actually, there is one. We had one dog, and we had small kids. We were all little, and so we had to get rid of it. And it ended up being a police dog, an LAPD. They sent us out. We got a letter in the mail. What? And they're like, Daphne is a member.
Talk about a glow up story.
Oh, exactly. It was unbelievable. We weren't.
She went out to Hollywood and made it.
It was insane.
She went out to Hollywood and made it.
The dog's doing better than I am. I was like, this is insane. But then our current dogs, like our last 3 or 4, we name them after Seinfeld characters. I like a theme. Like you, I like a theme.
That's great.
But who doesn't love dogs?
Who doesn't love dogs? And that's it.
That's it, man. We're talking about dogs, and we're gonna wrap this one up. It's episode 11 of Ponder Up Yonder. We'll be pondering next month for episode 12. My name is Nick.
And I'm Sam.
We'll see you next time.
Adios.
Later.
Oh, time for bloopers.
We can look at that.
So so these are duds.
So yeah, it can go either pile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
One sec.
All right. You let me know when you're ready. New York.
The arsonist had odd-shaped feet.
The Human Torch was denied a banquet.
I love the arsonist had odd-shaped feet.